Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below, your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Email me directly, email tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing a 25-piece limited edition in sapphire and blackened steel that launched back in 2019. This is the HYT H0 Camo Khaki Gray. The timepiece includes a lookless profile, so though it's 48.8 millimeters in diameter, it's also 48.8 millimeters lug-to-lug, so we're smaller than it is. HYT in 2017 introducing the H0 case without lugs to make its watches as wearable as they are fascinating. It is thick though, 19.1 millimeters thick. We'll throw it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, and you can see though it is very thick. It's not broad across the wrist. There's plenty of clearance on both sides. You can see that from the top as well. In my estimation, this watch won't fit underneath any kind of a cuff, but it should be fine on a wrist as narrow as 14 centimeters circumference. It is very comfortable and it sits securely. There is a custom strap. It's a matte gray with a dimple pattern that's molded in rows and columns. You can see it's fixed by screws for security. So this is a custom strap. You can see it's a brand new strap as well from HYT. And it includes a deployant clasp that is fairly clever. As you can see, this is a trigger actuated deployant clasp. Now the clasp itself is composed of lightweight blackened titanium. There's a smart micro adjustment system here where you actually push a little trigger, and then you've got several different increments of adjustment. So you have this micro sizing built in with a push button slider. It's a very smart system. It is a folding clasp, of course, HYT branded, satin finished with a few polished highlights, and then a twin trigger release so it stays fixed. You can also see it's held onto the strap by screws and bars, so this watch is resolutely stuck to your wrist. Screws to fix the strap to the case, screws to fix the strap to the buckle. The case, as you can see, is a combination of small polished highlights and then satin finished blackened steel. We have a crown that has a shoulder, a knurled shoulder in ceramic, and then the outer face is a combination of satin and polished metal. We have a enormous box section sapphire. This is the largest and most dramatically cambered sapphire you're going to find short of something like a Corum bubble. As a result, the metal of the case is almost impervious to scratches because when it's on your wrist, there's almost no way to bring the metal into contact with a surface. So given that the sapphire is 1800 Vickers and second only to diamond in hardness, this watch is probably never going to show a scratch. Taking a quick look at the dial, there's a lot to love. Radially, you can see there is a 24-hour scale, and it's all in matte gray, and it's cambered and rolled over the top, so there's a vertical portion and then a horizontal portion. We'll do a quick loom shot here, because the watch does have loom, and you can see it's actually quite well loomed. There is the seconds dial, the minutes dial at center, and then you have the meniscus between the blackened fluid and the clear fluid, and that indicates the hour. So you can read this watch fairly well. You can also see it's loomed on its side. Those numerals on the side are also loomed. It is a fascinating thing to see day or night. As you've probably gauged, it is an unusual regulator as we have our minutes, we have our seconds, we have our hour scale, and the way you read the hour is there are two immiscible liquids, one black, one sort of mint / clear. It's a translucent mint, roughly the color of the loom and the printing on the dial. Then we have two bellows that holds the fluids, and you can see them. They're driven by a cam mechanically. It is a Swiss lever escapement driving the cam system. And one is pumped out while the other is sucked in. As a result, the fluid, with its immiscible qualities, will never mix. And then we have that little meniscus between the immiscible liquids, and it indicates the hour. So for example, right now you're looking at 3:20, and now you are looking at 4 o'clock. Now the thing is, eventually you reach the end of the travel, and you know this is a regulator dial because it separates the hours, the seconds, and the minutes, but once it reaches the end of its travel, it's also an hour retrograde that works wonderfully slow, fast enough that it doesn't impede comprehension, but slow enough that you can appreciate it, and it'll retrograde back to the 6 on this side, so it goes 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8, and that's how it tells the time. There are sapphires covering the bellows, and you can see that the dial is a mix of orange, that mint green, black, and a little bit of polished silver in the forms of the screws that fix the assembly together. You can see them, and then there is this borosilicate tube that is actually made as a straight component, and then it's heated to a molten temperature and formed into a ring. Turning it all over, you can see the HYT caliber H101. It was developed in conjunction with Chronode, which is a high-end movement manufacturer. You can see 25 pieces, one of 25. 30 meters water resistant. The finish is designed to be techno-industrial, so we have a combination of polish, media blasting, and satination. It's a 35 joule manual wind movement with a full balance bridge for good bracing against shock and a 65-hour power reserve, and has a nice three-dimensional layered quality to it. The interplay of the fluidic elements and the traditional Swiss lever movement is beguiling, and this is one of the most entertaining watches you can pick up. It's fun to watch, fun to read, and fun to share with other enthusiasts or those who perhaps haven't glommed on to the watch hobby just yet. This will make believers out of them. This is a lot of fun. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details. Just to be clear, the little black and orange scale on the dial goes from black to orange, and this is a power reserve indicator that is full orange when the watch is fully wound.